meditation didn't work for me at all. I mean, a little bit, but now I'm here a coach and I'm here helping other people to do it. But let me make this point clear. The only reason why I'm in the position to do that is because I literally made every possible mistake or that anyone could do. And I'm just here to save you time. So let me tell you a little bit of my story. First thing, I came across meditation through what I think many people do too, which is through experiences. I was young. It was an experience that I was going for. I read it in books. I heard so many things about spiritual stuff. And I hear nowadays people doing, I don't know, like static dance, breath work, yoga in certain ways. There's a retreat thing but what I didn't notice at the time that I was using meditation to try to chase experience. And it was fun. It was great. But it was more like, now I would consider that more like entertainment. And please, anyone, if you enjoy doing that, please do it. It's very healthy. But of course, the problem came a bit down the line when after a few years start accumulating stress, anxiety, insomnia in my case, probably some sort of depression, I guess. But I was feeling very humbled down because I thought I should be able to manage that. I was meditating. How was it possible that I had all this anxiety and all this insomnia? I was all over the place emotionally. How could that happen if I was meditating? So I was chasing these retreats and all these workshops and stuff that I was doing, like trying to escape, trying to fix, and until you realize that simply doesn't work. It's great if you have a nice experience in meditation, but that's actually not the real work. That's not what really heals. That's not what really saves you. So in my case, I needed to be humbled down to actually look for what practice really is. And so I need to review completely and remake after a few years, after around like 5 years, I was through having all these experiences and meditating regularly and have all these friends and all these people and things and many books and things that I felt that was really on the path until I realized through noticing that my life was a mess. I realized that actually I wasn't. So I start saying, okay, I really want to learn this because this is supposed to be helping me and I still feel like crap. And so I start taking it more seriously. And what I wanted to make this video about is this stage, which I think many people are. This is what I want really to jump and help. Because if you're just having a good time making your meditation retreats and all that, please just continue doing so. It's fantastic. But if you're really in for actually changing your life for real, many of you have or already achieved a regular practice or you really want to. So you're serious about it. You say, okay, I'm ready to do the work. Roll up your sleeves and not just looking forward to have a fun experience or a spiritual experience or anything like that, but more like, I want to do whatever I have to do to stop suffering, to stop having such a, I don't know how to describe what is everybody describes their experience differently. For me, it was sense of disconnection with the world, a profound disconnection with people, profound disconnection with what I was doing, being a human even. Everything was so, I guess I was angry at it, even like a rebellious attitude towards everything or something like that. But something felt profoundly off. And that was what I was looking for. So when I started taking seriously meditation, I made another mistake. And the mistake was to not understand what meditation really is. Because I thought I knew. And I had training in meditation until I realized the huge mistake that I was making was that I was untraining myself. I say this because I see many people doing this. I've been hosting groups of meditation for now more than 10 years, and actually way before that. But there's certain mistakes you see when you organize these events and you see all these people coming and going and meditating. And I see myself so much into it. So I really hope this video lands on you and saves you some time. Because the pattern that I see and I experienced was that I didn't know what I was doing. You have all these guided meditations, you have all these teachings, these books about meditation, but the truth is that most people sit to meditate They don't really understand what the mechanics of meditations are, what is the clear feedback you have to know if you're meditating or not. Hopefully, a real time feedback so you can um, tune in and be better at it, so to say, and not just like an open, just resting, which is a good starting point, but it just doesn't deliver. That's the honest truth. Because, I mean, think about yourself, be a bit compassionate. In my case, for example, I was coming from all this chaotic life situation. So when I was sitting to meditate, I was really hoping to have a break from everything. So I was actually looking forward to some sort of escapism. So I wasn't there to deal with to fear, to face my fears and all that. No, I was there to just to create a safe space where I could just rest from the chaotic life and so on. And that was the problem at some point, I realized. Because when you do that, and please do, I think I want you to be compassionate with yourself. So there's a reason why we do that. If you're tired, if you're exhausted, if you cannot, of course, you're going to look for something that gives you space for that. And it's good that meditation does that. But if you want to really transform your life, you need to take it a bit deeper in terms of the quality of your meditation. Because most people I talk to, and most people that approach me, I always say this thing that I'm saying to you right now, that I realize that most people actually don't have a quality standard for the meditation. So what was happening, back to my story, is that without noticing, I was training myself to be distracted. So it is kind of not just distraction by restlessness, because you just kind of, there's this, focus on the breath, or this, just be here and now, whatever is the kind of guided meditation or sort of instructions you have, they have you kind of land into like a sweet, numb spot where you don't feel so tired and so negative emotions are not so intense. And this is good. It's like a little oasis you can create for yourself. So use meditation like that if you want to. But if you're actually already ready, or maybe like it was in my case, I really needed to help me to transform the way that I was experiencing life, then we need to go a little deeper, not just as a peaceful experience you have. Because what happens is when you're doing that, you're training yourself to be distracted, because you go into meditation, but you actually don't have a clear focus. You don't have a clear moment by moment mindfulness or awareness of what you are actually doing. So there's this discontinuity that feels good. That's the problem, especially when you're tired. It feels like, oh yeah, most people will fall asleep if you could be guided through a good meditation. Probably at first you will just, because you let go so much, that if you've been running through the desert completely dry, of course you're gonna like, just go away, and that's okay. But after a while, you need something that is actually healing your mind, and for that you need to really start having a more of a training attitude, where you have references and marks on how you can do better. And that's what changed everything for me, because I realized that most of the time I thought I was paying attention, but I wasn't. And I think this is certainly the case to most people, because I've been helping people for a long time, and this is exactly what it all comes down to. When I help people, you realize people don't know what they're doing, and with that, there's this little image in your eyes that you think you're looking to something, but like a bird, your eyes are actually going somewhere and going back to it, and you have the impression that you're looking at something, but you're actually not. And all this tiny distraction from your mind, from this kind of little thought that goes in there, or this kind of like dozing off in there, your suffering is still perpetuating itself. It's like a way suffering hides. So the only way to go about it is to really have a very clear structure where you can cut through. Now you need clarity, profound clarity, moment by moment, of what's happening. You can pick an object to start with, because that's the best and easiest way to reference when you're actually departing and thinking. And the problem with this, because this is not something new, this is something that I've been there for thousands of years. Why people don't practice this? Because you feel incredibly frustrated in the beginning. Because you say, oh, I was supposed to be focusing on this object, let's say your breath, or kind of a mantra, or kind of an image, whatever it is. And then what you experience is you're failing at it tremendously because your mind is just off all the time. You notice, oh my God, I cannot stay even for, it just goes all the time out. But what we fail to acknowledge at that moment, because that frustration makes you don't want to do it. You don't want to do something that you're really bad at it. It makes you feel worse about yourself. After sitting to practice, focusing on something and noticing how you're failing consistently on it, doesn't make you feel good. So what I didn't understand was that actually these distractions were exactly the process. So it wasn't something I was doing wrong. Don't feel bad if you feel distracted. That's exactly, my friend, where you should be. So in the beginning, it feels like you're trying to focus on there, and you just go out and flip, and just come back a few minutes later. Oh, I was meditating, and you just go back to. That's okay, my friend. It just means, okay, pay more attention, because what you didn't see is your attention just disappearing. You didn't see that. So relax, stay with the object. Relax, stay with clarity with the object. At some point, you're going to notice that your mind is about to move, and you may see it disappearing, and it will still go away. But it will be shorter, the amount of time that is going to come back. And this is something you can measure effectively, and you can keep it moving deeper and deeper. This is exactly what I do on a daily basis, helping people to integrate this in their meditation. But hopefully I'm here and explain you the system. And there are a couple of books I always recommend. And there's a free course actually that you can join with a link below. But anyways, the important point is that this is not a secret. You can access this information from many different places. And the point is that you need to have a standard of quality of your meditation. I don't care what you're meditating on. It doesn't matter. More important that what you're meditating on is the quality of your meditation. That's what really will transform you. So what you do is you become very sensitive to these movements of distraction. That's how your suffering, your anxiety, your depression, your negative emotions are feeding back. And even when you think you're meditating, your life's still kind of the same. Maybe a bit more chill, but kind of the same. It's not about just soothing your negative emotions. It's about to be completely free from them. But in order to do that, you need a high quality of attention. What's going to happen if you understand this practice? At some point, you're going to notice that your attention is not going to go so far away. You're going to notice that it just goes a little bit and goes back a little bit. And at some point, you're going to become so good that you can feel it even before it's moving. You can gently, with a simple nudge, keep it there. And if you do that, at some point, you're going to find yourself landing on the object, whatever the object is, for way, way longer periods of time. And this is an incredible, fascinating experience that I wish, and that's kind of my mission here, people would have. Because in the moment that you feel, oh, I'm there, I'm aware, I'm fully aware here, now, completely restful. It's not something you are concentrating. It's just an effortless expression of your nature, of awareness. And it just stays there. When you stay there for a long time, that's going to be one of the best days you had in a very long time. So this is a science that you can replicate to have over and over better and better quality of life. Not just when you're meditating, but this is going to heal your mind. It's going to fix all this distraction. That's why it keeps all your negative emotions popping up in your life. So the more you do this kind of cleansing, this kind of repetitively going back, and if you're going to try with any further instruction, just let me tell you that you need to be very gentle, okay? It's not concentration like in school, like just go back and focusing it. It's not that. It's not that. That won't work. That will push you away again. So again, there's a free course that you will find the link where I explain a lot of things about this. Feel free to do that. But otherwise, yeah, I'm going to show you. I always recommend this book, The Attention Revolution by Alan Wallace, or if not, the other one that I don't have it around now, which is The Mind Illuminated by Chula Dasa. In there, you have all the information that you need for understanding this subtle dance between whatever is your object of meditation. And of course, this trains you tremendously to when you when you stand up from your meditation, you go through your day and you are keeping that level of awareness. So you go to work and you're focused. You talk to someone and you're really communicating, you're really listening, you're really feeling, and you look through the window and you may see something beautiful. because you're paying attention. So I maybe I drifted a little bit from the original topic, but this is kind of like the huge discovery that I'm here to share with you, hopefully to inspire you to actually integrate it in your life, to really please consider what I'm saying. Consider training your attention rather than thinking meditation is kind of like an experience you chase, or it's just a drug that kind of numbs you a bit out of your suffering. No, it's way more than that. It can completely wake you up. And at some point with practice, like with anything, you let go of all this suffering, you let go of all these mental patterns, unconscious mental patterns, through balancing your attention. And when you can stay there, things blossom in front of you. Things, your attention cuts through like a laser, and you see solutions to every problem. And you understand things you never, patterns that you couldn't see about yourself and things outside of you, just because you're more there. You're more attentive. You're noticing more things, so you can see. And suddenly you have understanding of things. Wow, how could I didn't come across this for so many years? Now you understand, and your life start improving radically. So that's what I hope for you. And if I had to finish with something, is that keep meditating, and because if you're doing it correctly, it's going to completely transform not just this little thing you do sitting in the morning or in the evening. No, it's going to transform all your life, your relationships, your abundance with money, your work, your self-worth. It's going to heal your trauma. It's going to do everything. But you need to go deep. You cannot just stay in this kind of like app guided meditation, mindfulness. That's okay. That's good. That's a good starting point. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about very chirurgic, pro level kind of attention. That is transformative. And you can practice. You can start today. And just spend time with it. That's my final suggestion. Spend time with it. Make time for it. Because in this laboratory of sitting a few minutes and exploring how you get distracted, that's how you're going to find the solution to everything that felt like a problem. Hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this inspires you to give it a try and to take it as a training, something you do step by step. So don't feel bad if you feel out. No, that just means you need to adjust your practice to this thing. So I could go on and explain you what you can do with that, but this video will be too long. But basically, you just need to find the right training for you. And you will feel good about it, and you will progress. And at some point, you will fine-tune it so much that it will be transformative.